because I want a submissive. So let me see if this female's gonna be submissive, and I'm dealing with her, and she's not submissive now. I have two choices. I can either deal with her after her not being submissive, or I could choose not to. Right? The fuck niggas still choose not to, still choose to deal with her. A real man would try to at least correct her in her ways and be like, yo, listen, I'm not asking you for submission because a man has to submit to you anyway. You see, a real man submits to his woman anyway. Whatever she asks for, if you ask me for protection without even asking, I'm going to go do it.
If you gotta ask for submission from a woman, she's not for you and she don't like you. That's it. I've
Right.
never had to beg
So
for
so
submission.
so watch this though. So when a man's an actual man, whether he has
Uh,
one or 20 females, they will all submit to him
Mm.
because he is the man. Now, if he has to go ask and say, "Hey, woman or wife, go submit to me," then he's not no man, and she has the pants on. That's a different story.
Mm.
So, at the end of the day, what you're looking for, or that man, either there's going to be a man who's monogamous, which there are many men who are monogamous, and there are some who are not, or there are some who choose or who want to be. But the reason why they are not is because the women who they are talking to and they're asking for these things from these women, they ain't giving it to them. So
so
if
that
I
goes
ask you
to
for
that
submission, I
goes to
ask you
my
to go do
point
these, and
though.
I'm doing these things. I'm protecting you. I'm providing for you in certain ways. And provision doesn't mean money. Provision means intellect. Provision means solutions. Provision means solutions to problems. So if I'm also providing that, if I'm also protecting you in certain ways, if I'm also giving you what you need physically, and then in return I'm asking you, hey, I just want somebody who's kind of fit and who's somebody who's healthy. You can't go to the gym. Oh, I want somebody, I need somebody who cooks a meal. Well, I go outside and I'm with you for 5 hours while you're shopping. I have to protect you the whole time, but it takes you 20 minutes to cook a meal and you can't cook that? But that's submission to you? Submission to me is I have to go outside and I'm literally bearing the whole world and everything that I got to go through. But when it comes to folding clothes and doing laundry, which I can do myself, because to be honest, everything that a woman can do, a man can do for himself.
No, a man should do for himself, not
Pay
could.
attention very clear. No, no, no. Should and could.
No,
Should and could.
should.
I can
Because you could
cook
be
for
doing this
myself.
stuff
I can
before I
clean
met
for
you.
myself. I
No,
can cook for myself. I can clean for myself. I can do all that stuff. So at the end of the day,
you
if I had a prostitute and a maid and a friend, prostitute, maid,
Where's he
friend,
going with this?
and a forgot the other one. But let's use just the three. If I had those three, just as females, if if my wife can't be these three, because these three are individual. They do individual things. If she can't be these three, why am I then going for that when I have to be all these things for her? I have to be the protector, the provider, all these things. I'm willing to go do that. Be willing to go do your job. Be
Mm.
willing to go. And if I have to go and protect you and have to go now and go to the gym and make sure that I'm physically fit, and on top of that, I'm also uh, I'm also aware of my surroundings. You should be that too. It shouldn't just be on one side. It shouldn't just be also
agree.
men are, and the sad reality is that yes, are there men talking about these things? I'm going to say it again. These are the
They're not the simps. These are the alpha males that are speaking loud and proud. But hold on before you go off, right? This is where my issue is, right? The minority of men that are speaking on this are speaking for the majority, right? And what the problem is that you have a lot of high value men, quote unquote, right? High value men who are not only speaking for average men, who are not only speaking for working men, who aren't only speaking just for bums, they're speaking for all men. The same way how you can say, not you per se, but you can say, oh, women are X, women are Y, women are Z, right? Goes to my point where Caroline said, we women. You said, those men. Why is
and
it?
I
No,
think
why is it
but
that
the
why is
reason why it's those is because men there are men different from males. We're not going to categorize ourselves with everybody.
what we do?
Strong don't categorize themselves with weak.
What we do? We
You're
literally
not
do.
supposed to.
But
There
we
is a
literally
balance.
do.
There's
I
a
literally
difference.
just said that anytime that something is positive about men, we say we. Anything that's negative against men, it's they.
Who says we?
Men, literal
Men
men.
ain't shit. We all ain't shit. We all ain't shit.
So
We
now
all.
you're saying we. Now you're saying we.
No. Pay attention very clearly. Watch this. We know that we all ain't shit. The difference between us men is that we don't have to keep on saying we because we all know that we ain't shit.
That's not true.
Hold on.
That is not
Let me-
true. Go ahead,
And
Gabriel. Go
so
ahead.
watch
Go
this.
ahead.
And those are the simps.
They're not the Sims. Go ahead, Gabriel. Go ahead.
All right. I want Caroline.
And
to
if
chime
those are alpha men talking, those alpha men are not alpha men. Those are beta men, and they're simps.
Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
want to hear something from Caroline because it looks like she's burning to get something off of her chest. Go ahead.
I have come to the realization that no matter how much you try to cap and, as the young folk and cool adults say, and advocate and proclaim how good men are, you know, there are still those who would like try to isolate themselves in the corner of goodness and greatness and wokeness, while the rest of the scruffy ones just, you know, that's not me, but like, you know, we all look alike, you know, oh, that used to be me, but like I'm changed, I'm different, cool, whatever. I try, you know, I try to understand the male's perspective, and I try, but then like you sit on and you watch, and it's just like you sow your wild oats, you do everything and whatever, you lay down with somebody's wife and somebody's girlfriend, and you just doing everything and making babies and doing whatever. But the world will turn around and be like, it's the woman's fault. It's the woman. It's her. It's all her. That's the problem for me, right? You were raised by single mothers and only women in the house. Cool. But just like you don't want a woman running around talking about her daddy issues, we're not trying to hear about your mommy issues forever. We got therapists on the sliding scale. We got therapists everywhere. Like, you got to deal with your stuff. Like, you cannot medicate your pain away with isolation and, you know, overworking and hypersexuality. Like, that's not okay. And I, as a woman, I understand what my girlfriends be telling me. We all here in existence together. Black folk are the only folk who has not received reparations. We the only folk that have been raped and stolen and thrown around from our lands. But we are the only people having conversations about submission versus independence. We're the only people having conversation about masculinity versus femininity. And you know what?
I disagree.
That's fine. We are the only people having those conversations, okay? White men and men of other cultures get up and do what they're supposed to do for their women. The women are turned around, groomed for those positions, and fill the gap. But see, black men argue with black women arguing with black men.
They're not black men
but
out
the
here
only way that the lineage of our species continues is through us. Greatness flows through our veins. If we understood where we came from, what we stand for, and who we are, we would be having a different conversation. I'm not about to argue with nobody about nothing that I require in a relationship, because I tell you up front, and it should be the same vice versa. But when I see the conversation, when I'm on the podcast or whatever, ew. All of these men out here asking for and requiring submission. You don't even know how to listen on your job. You don't know how to have a conversation.
And what is it on the
reverse? You don't know how to go to brunch, okay?
What is it on the reverse?
And he told me brunch is for women. And I was like,
what?
In the middle of the day.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm that guy.
I don't care what.
Brunch is for women. I ain't gonna hold you.
Why is a bunch of men
the
sitting
restaurant
at a
had
table
men
eating
and
brunch?
women, so I'm confused. Brunch is for everybody who got
brunch
stomach, whatever.
Brunches.
Cool. See, that's when y'all putting gender stuff on everything.
That's crazy.
But here's why. But you know why though?
Wait. We have overcomplicated things. We have thrown sex on everything. We're sneak linking on everything. A song came on my radio station the other day talking about I fell in love with my sneaky link. I don't even understand how you do that. What? You got women in these groups trying to figure out how to be in a whole face so they can have attention from men. I don't care about none of that. You can go deal with somebody else. You can go get whatever you want from somebody else, because I'm not putting out what I don't feel like putting out just to make you feel better about life.
It was FNF all summer.
I'm good on that. If something happens to that man upstairs, I'm gonna be shit out of luck.
So Caroline,
'Cause
you
I
see how
don't
you
cook.
are.